AnA, Apologetics, not apologies.
Hello and welcome to Apologetics, Not Apologies, a series of short films that asks and answers the questions posed by the AnA books. My name's Tim, I'm the show's host, and here to help me answer our questions is author Tim, who wrote the AnA books, and also commentator Tim, who will help us unpack the materials in greater detail and talk to us about their consequences as we explore them. Welcome to you both. Hello. Hello. Let's start off by getting a quick overview of the topic that we're about to explore.
Today's topic is the nature of information.
So in this short film, we're going to be looking at the topic of information. Author Tim, how do we set the scene to look at this subject? Well, it's actually quite simple. Life within the universe is subject to three things: the laws of physics, mathematics, and information theory. And information theory tells us that wherever you come across information within the cosmos, no matter what form that information takes, it always traces its origins back to a thinking mind. So wherever you see information in the universe, you see something that has its roots in the mind of a person. Random and unguided movements of raw energy in a dead cosmos cannot create information. Okay, commentator Tim, why is that? Well, as Tim points out for us in his book, information is not evolvable into existence for three main reasons: by its nature, by its structure, and by its context. By its nature, because information has no mass and has no mathematical relationship to energy. By its structure, because information is made up of data and code. And by its double context, because the environment that processes the code is more complex than the code itself. And wherever you see information in the cosmos, a question has been asked and an answer provided. All of these things together tell us that information always traces itself back to a thinking mind. Wow, that's a large amount of information to unpack. Information cannot be evolved into existence by its nature, by its structure, or by its context. Let's dip our toes into this subject. Let's have a look at the first of these facts, that information by nature cannot be evolved into existence. Here's the first short video to help us understand.
Information theory tells us that information has no mass and has no mathematical relationship to energy. What does this mean? Let's illustrate this point by imagining that you're standing on a beach and, with your finger, you write in the sand the words, "Hello world." You've written a greeting. Not only that, but you've added something to the beach. You've added information. However, you've not changed the mass of the beach. There's just as many grains of sand on the beach after the information was added as before. You've simply made markings in the sand, and those impressions contain information. You've added information to the beach therefore, but the mass of the beach has not changed. This is because the nature of information is that it has no mass. You could take a spade and dig out that lettering with lots of energy, but you would still have the same amount of information on the beach. The lettering would still say, "Hello world." You could use an industrial digger to dig out that lettering till it was trench deep. But it would still only say, "Hello world." Lots of energy has been used, but you still have the same amount of information expressed in the sand. Then you could take the tip of your finger and write in the sand the words, "Hello world, it's a beautiful day." And in less time, using less energy, you will have added more information onto the beach. This is because it is not the amount of energy that determines the amount of information. The nature of information is that it is imprinted onto the cosmos by an external mind. It has no relationship to mass or energy. You can also be sure that every time a random and unguided movement of raw energy encounters the beach, every time the wind blows across the sand, or every time a wave of the sea comes up onto the beach, both of these movements will do nothing except remove the information that has been imprinted there. This is what we call the second law of thermodynamics in action. This law of physics tells us that all random and unguided movements of raw energy in the cosmos will do nothing but move the universe towards a greater state of disorder. Therefore, you cannot use raw energy movements in any scientific theory to be the agents by which information is created. That breaks the laws of physics. You cannot use the very things that remove information to create information. This is another reason why information always traces itself back to a thinking mind.
So that's the nature of information, a massless quantity that has no relationship to energy. Author Tim, is there anything that you might want to add to that? Well, simply that. The video has only focused on the very first reason why information cannot evolve, due to its nature. I'm sure our viewers will be challenged all the more when we take the time to look at the structure and context of information, which I also cover in my book. I also write about why evolutionist theories about life creation are also fundamentally flawed. However, what I do want to say on this part of the subject is that something that is without mass and without any mathematical relationship to energy cannot be brought into existence by mere physical matter clashing with each other in the cosmos. Chemical reactions within the cosmos that will only serve to move the universe towards a greater level of disorder are not able to generate a finely tuned, massless product. That, in part, is what information is. Commentator Tim, what are the implications for us that information by nature cannot be evolved into existence? Well, it's quite simple really. When we understand that random and unguided movements of raw energy in a dead cosmos cannot and will not create information, then we have to logically come to the conclusion that life cannot start all by itself. A dead cosmos cannot produce life, death does not produce life, and disorder does not create order. We therefore have to conclude that a mind, a person, meddled with, interfered with, tampered with the cosmos in order for life to exist. This also tells us that the spiritual was in existence before the physical. The repercussions of this are huge because that tells us that spirituality has a life of its own outside of humanity, and therefore life, spiritual things are not just a matter of personal belief. Well, there we have it. The nature of information dictates for us that its existence in the universe can only be accounted for by a thinking mind. This means that spirituality came before physicality. If you want to find out more about this, then please read Tim's books, God's Magnum Opus, Searching for a Person, Not a Process, and Escaping the Secular Box, The Radicalisation of Westernized Culture. Visit the website apologetics.apologies.com for purchasing details. And in the next video, we'll look at the second reason why information cannot be evolved into existence. So tune in to our next film to find out why. Goodbye. Goodbye.